All right, let us continue. Yeah. So, belief about language and also belief about language learning are very, very important, and they very influential, very, very influential both in learning for learners as well as in teaching for teachers, or in developing materials for material developers. So this applies not only to learners but also to teachers, to instructors, as well as to material designers. And then if we want to study belief, how is it done? We can do research on beliefs by using questionnaire, or using Likert skill, or using interviews, or we can also use learner's diary. Yeah. And then the possible application for this, we can help learners to develop self-awareness or develop learning autonomy. And we can also identify the beliefs which relate to the success in second language learning, or the countering beliefs that have a negative impact on language learning. I guess number 3 is very important, so that we can counter inappropriate belief about language learning. What about the other individual learner differences? We'll look at the learner factors. What do we have here? Well, we have factors which can change and which cannot, or very difficult to change. The factors that are very difficult to change are immutable, while the factors that can change, they are mutable. What about the immutable factors? We see here at least there are 2. Yeah. Age and language aptitude. Age and language aptitude. How can age be an important factor in individual learner differences? Well, at least we can look at 2 theories related to age, or related to development, or people development, learners development, or our development. The first theory is proposed by Piaget, which is called cognitive development. Piaget argued that there are 4 stages of cognitive development. The first stage is what is called sensory motor stage, from birth up to 2 years old, more or less. Yeah. At this stage, babies rely so much on their senses and also to movements around the baby, or around the babies themselves. The second stage is what is called pre-operational stage. This applies to approximately age 2 until age 7. So this is before, the stage before the students can move to what is called operational stage. And then concrete operational stage, that is between the age of 7 to age 12, more or less, and formal operational stage from the age 12 and up. When we teach young learners, for example, young learners or very young learners, well, they probably start at the kindergarten and at the age of probably 5, 6 or 4. And then we also have English, for example, for the elementary school, ranging from age 7 to 12. So at the concrete operational stage. And then for the high schools, well, at the formal operational stage. Let us focus on the concrete operational stage and formal operational stage. I remember when I was in elementary school studying math. At the time it was called perhitung. Yeah. So at the time I learned or I studied math or counting or perhitung by using sticks, or in Javanese we call them soto. Yeah? The sticks from bamboos. We use the sticks to practice addition, subtraction or subtraction, and then also division and multiplication. Yeah? We need real objects to help us solve problems. The real objects are concrete objects. So we operate with concrete objects. And this is how we learn at this stage. Now imagine if we teach English to elementary school students. We can have a look at books for elementary school students, yeah, especially English books. Then we will see that there are lots of pictures. Pictures are used to introduce vocabulary. Conversations are also illustrated with pictures. And then let us try to see whether in the book we can find grammatical rules. If we understand that elementary school students are at the concrete operational stage, I believe teachers or material designers will not include rules in explicit rules or formulas in the elementary school books for English. Why? Because the students are not at that level yet. They are still at the concrete operational stage. So when we introduce vocabularies, we provide pictures. So we have the picture and the label, the picture and the word, to show that there is relation between word and real object. So this is very helpful at this concrete operational stage, that we have things which are tangible, that can be manipulated in language learning. It might be a bit different when the students move to a higher level, to the formal operational stage, because at this stage students can do abstraction much better. So we can introduce formulas, we can introduce rules, or we can ask students to derive rules. So this is why it is necessary for us to understand the cognitive development as part of the immutable learner factor. We may also study Erikson's psychosocial development. It is good for us to understand. If we look at the picture here, we have infancy, where babies learn to trust people or to mistrust people, or early childhood where the students can start moving or walking, learning to walk, to run, and so on. So here autonomy is because they can do things by themselves. If the students are successful, then okay, they will be autonomous. But if they are not successful, well, the child will not develop fully. And then we have preschool, we have the also school age, yeah? We have industry and inferiority. Preschool, initiative, guilt, adolescent identity versus role confusion, and so on. So it might be good if you have time to study this. I studied this a bit late. I wish I studied this when I was your age, before I had children, yeah, so that I can help my children develop in a proper way. All right. Another factor which is immutable is language aptitude. Some people are endowed with good language aptitude, some do not. Some have the ability to learn language easily, some don't. We have different language aptitudes, and that's why our progress in learning a language might be different. Can we assess language aptitude? Yes. We can assess language aptitude using certain tests. You may browse in the internet for instruments to assess language aptitude. But what is measured in language aptitude? We measure the phonemic coding ability, and then grammatical sensitivity, inductive language learning ability, and also rote learning ability. Please again see the internet or browse in the internet for instrument to assess language aptitude. Let's now look at the mutable learner factors. One or two of them are learning styles and learning strategies. This will be discussed by Tika and Rhea. Tika next week, and then Rhea the following week. And then we also have personality factors, which relates to affective domain and motivation. And then the factors related to affective domains are self-esteem, inhibition, risk-taking, anxiety, sympathy, also extro and extraversion, or extraversion, and intro or introversion. So these are the affective domains related to individual learner differences. Self-esteem, more or less talk about is about how we view ourselves, how we value ourselves. Do we value ourselves highly, or do we underestimate ourselves? It is a personal judgment of worthiness that is expressed in the attitudes that individuals hold toward themselves. Worthiness, am I worthy enough? Is my students worthy in their eyes? So the students judge themselves. That is why some have good self-esteem, some do not. What does it concern? It concerns the evaluation one makes or maintains with regards to him or herself. It also relates with attitudes of approval or disapproval. What one believes about themselves. Are they capable? Are they significant? Are they successful? Are they worthy? So all these are the essence of um,